This is the Coach Bryan Moore Show with Opelika head football coach Bryan Moore. And now with Coach Moore, the voice of the Bulldogs, Van Riggs.
Welcome into the Bryan Moore Show. It is game week. A lot of excitement building, getting ready for the big matchup coming up Friday night against Benjamin Russell inside Bulldog Stadium. We're going to catch up with Coach Bryan Moore here in just a bit. We're joined up first, though, by Coach Jamie Ferguson, who handles wide receivers and special teams for the Bulldogs. We're going to be talking about a lot of his specialists coming up here in this segment. And Coach Ferguson, talk about that. We'll start with special teams because I know that's an area that gets overlooked sometimes, but very important sometimes, the difference between winning and losing.
Absolutely. It's one of those, most people that watch football just on TV, they really don't think about it. Or you go to the restroom or go get your snacks in like a game you're watching. But anybody at our level knows that special teams is really the third game of football. And we pride ourselves here at Opelika of having a really good unit. Last year, most of our units were really, really well. However, there's always things we want to correct and get better, and that's why we've been working really hard since February, trying to get this stuff nailed down. So when we get ready for the season, we're ready to go game one.
All right, two guys we're going to bring in first up, though, are two guys that we probably won't call them out a whole lot unless they mess up.
That's right.
These are the holders for the team, but they also serve as backup quarterbacks as well. So we'll bring in Whit Cooper and Fuller Young here into the screen. And Whit's got the microphone, so he'll be first up. Whit, sophomore, backup quarterback, one of the backup quarterbacks, and also going to serve as holder. So talk about your role as a holder this year, which will be your key spot.
Just doing everything I can to help and just kind of had to step into that spot. Just got to do what I got to do.
So you know what to do if things go crazy?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Probably going to have to throw it to somebody, right?
Oh, yeah.
Fire. All right, let's bring in Fuller. Fuller also working at a quarterback position as well, but also going to serve as holder. And I know you mentioned working in on some special teams too.
Yeah, absolutely. He's going to probably roll out there and start on kickoff return. Both of these guys want to play and be on the field as much as they can. And one thing about special teams, if you want to be on it, that says a lot about you. And if you come to me in person and say, I want to be on this, then it means something to you. And they both work really hard, and you may see them out there in a lot of positions in special teams this year.
Fuller, talk about special teams and your role so far and what you think.
It was hard at first because my first time ever being on kickoff return and having to work on getting leverage. Because at first, if you just drop straight back, you're not going to be able to push that guy to the sideline. And then, yeah.
And last year you got thrown into the backup quarterback role and got a chance to throw a touchdown inside Bulldog Stadium.
That was great. It was pink, and he wasn't even supposed to run that route, but it was just there. I was like, oh, snap. I guess I'm going to throw a touchdown. And threw it, celebrated, and had a great time.
Well, let's go back to Whit real quick. Whit, I know you're working in there at quarterback a lot, and how's the offseason been for you and coming into the fall?
Oh, yes, sir. It's been kind of a grind between me and Fuller, just going back and forth just all summer because, he's been doing a great job, and I've been just trying to, stay with him, learning all the new things and stuff since he's been in the system, and just got to do everything I can to prepare myself mentally and just keep fighting for that.
Yeah, well, I know you got a couple of guys that have played the quarterback role before, especially in Colby and in Fuller, so you can bounce a lot of things off of them, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, well, Coach Ferguson, we'll let these two guys hop off. We're going to bring in some other of our special teams players into the mix. And before they come up, Jamie, talk a little bit about these two guys. Of course, the kicker, the punter. It's all in the same person this year.
Yeah, it's last year we had Reese handled the kicking duties for the most part when Johnny got hurt, and then Zion did the punting duties. Well, this year, Zion graduated, Johnny graduated, so now Reese is going to handle both punting and kicking. Kicking off, field goals, PATs, extra points. So this year is his year, and he's really worked really hard at his punting this summer, which is getting really, really, really good. When he strikes it well, it comes off his foot really different than most people's. You can just hear it. You don't even have to see it. I can tell you when he hits a good one without even looking at it. So, really pumped about him and him growing in his craft. And then we were lucky, because the hardest spot on the field that makes coaches like me and Coach Moore lose sleep is that snapper row.
Right.
And the fact that we have a returning guy that had a really good year last year. I told him yesterday in our team meeting, like, I have all the confidence in the world in him. Like, that's one thing I physically don't worry about because I know he works at his craft, and Cam Reddy does an extremely good job at snapping both our short snaps and our long snaps this year. So.
Well, I can tell you how important it is with a Hall of Fame coach that's next to me in the booth. Coach McCracken he zeroes in on the opponent's snapping on the punt.
That's
and
right.
he can tell you if it's a slow snap, he can tell us what we're supposed to be doing.
That's
we're supposed
right.
to be getting after and trying to block it.
I'm sure he's fussing at me some too.
That's right. I know it's important. Well, we'll get Cam Rayleigh and, of course, Reese Beasley in here that we've just been talking about. Cam's got the microphone. Talk about, you're a senior this year. I know you're going to be playing receiver a lot too, but talk about special teams-wise snapping and how important it is.
So snapping is really important because, like, you start the play, you set up everything, and if you can't get that ball 14 yards back there, like, it gets over him or hits the ground, it's a big deal because the people rushing the punter, they get that ball that can turn the game around. And if you don't have solid snaps, I mean, you can, like, really throw a game around. I went, like, 25 or 26 on snaps last year. And I'll say the Hoover game snap, like, that tore me apart. So I've been working this year to perfect my craft so that I can just throw it back there right in his chest every single time.
Now, most people have forgotten about it. Now you reminded everybody about it. Now, but talk about one thing when you snap the football, you got another job. You got to get downfield and help cover as well.
Oh, yeah. So Coach Ferg asked me to do this because he knew I was capable of learning a new skill, also because I had a little bit of speed to get down there and, attack the guy that's returning. Also so that I can get there and force him to do a fair catch and feel like it's good being fast so I can get down there and do the fair catch,
Absolutely. I know you're looking for a big senior year too.
So, yeah.
All right. Well, good luck. Reese jumping into his junior season. And Reese, I know we've been hearing about the leg for a long time. You've kind of taken over both roles now, kicking and punting. Talk about it being a junior, and I know you're ready to show out.
Yes, sir. I'm very excited for Friday. Very excited for the season. I had a good season last year, but that doesn't matter. That was last year, so I'm looking forward to a new year.
And you had some pressure kicks last year. I know one, I look back at the Central game, one that really sealed the game, made it a 9-point game, 2-possession game. That was huge.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. The celebration, after that was good, but this year I'm going to try not to celebrate as much, expect to make them. So.
And sometimes the routine kicks can be the hardest, right?
Yes. 30 and in kicks I get in my head the most because I feel like if I don't make those, everybody's going to be like, well, that was a chip shot.
So if the game's on the line, let's say, in the biggest game of the year and Opelika's down 2, hits a field goal to win it, you're ready to go, right?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. It's definitely going in.
It's good to have a guy that's ready for the pressure box, right?
That's the great thing about Reese. A lot of kickers are worried about the moment and think about it too much. He's like a regular football player out there.
Yeah.
He really is. He has that it factor about him. He has good confidence. And like I tell everybody, I'd rather have to rein him back some than pump him up for the game. And I've had some kickers that you look them in the eye and it's that time and you're like, are you ready? And they're really like, I don't know. Reese is like, hey, just get it close. One more yard is all I need. So I'm really pumped and pleased with these guys. Again, Reese has done a really good job, and Cam too. But Cam doesn't realize this, but he's the main reason in the last couple of years that, especially last year, that we've had 0 return yards, and when we're punting and the other team returning the ball, and primarily because of him, how fast he is getting down the field after he snaps it. So he does a tremendous job of that, and I don't expect that number to change this year.
But as the number has changed, now you're wearing number 13, right? Okay, so we'll watch out for number 13 snapping. And one real quick thing, Marshall Myers, I know has done a lot of good work with you, a former Bulldog kicker that played at Auburn University.
Yeah, he is. He's done a lot of work, more on the mental side than physical side, just working on knowing what to do, not getting in my head, just focusing on what I need to do.
All right, well, good luck to you guys. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back with Coach Bryan Moore right after this timeout. You've been listening to The Bryan Moore Show. Welcome back here on The Bryan Moore Show, and a big shout out to Glenn Smith Chevy GMC in Opelika, exit 62 off of I-85, presenting The Bryan Moore Show each and every week, and certainly want to thank them. Coach, what a great group that was. I know sometimes special teams guys are the unsung heroes,
Yeah.
and just like Reese Beasley knocking through a big kick and a good snap, a good hold, it all goes a long way to winning.
It does. I mean, they're all four like super consistent people, and like Coach Ferg said, I mean, Reese could play another position. The other three do, but Reese is a good athlete. And so those guys, they really, you hate to say kicker mentality, but it's there. I mean, he's right. Like I've had some guys just like him over the years. You're like, what is going on through your head right now? Like,
right.
Stay away from that guy, type thing. But those guys are all, quality people, great families, and they're in the biggest moments. I thought back, I was thinking about the Central game. And the things that we don't think about is like the confidence I had in Brody too last year, getting the ball on the block. I mentioned it recently. The decision was probably, in my opinion, the biggest of the year for us with deciding to kick that field goal or not. Because if you get it blocked and they run it back, you completely lost the ball game because of the decision. But trusting your holder, trusting Cam to snap it, and obviously trusting Reese. But again, most people are thinking about Reese in that moment, but there's so much more to it. And then the other, 8 guys around them that have to hold up in protection. And truthfully, we didn't do a very good job of that at Meet the Bulldogs. And Coach and I, we met all day yesterday with our staff, and we said, these are some things to clean up. So it is a collective effort. But I love those 4 guys, and there are others too. Jalen, as a returner, but we knew we'd have him on as a receiver at some point, and Andre Van back there too. C.J. Johnson returning. So there are just so many pieces, and I want to talk about Coach Ferg too for a second. He does such a great job with this, and does his planning and attention to detail, and then we have a lot of pieces that help us as well. But we put a lot of time into this, and last year we felt like all but 2 games we won those phases, and that was Auburn and Hoover. And we it wasn't a landslide loss in that phase, but there were some things we didn't do well, and it caught up with us from a field position standpoint, whatever it might be. And so this year we really even worked harder than a year ago, started earlier on special teams, and then as he mentioned, Marshall too. Marshall coming and doing such a great job with the mental side for Reese, and understanding that, because a lot of times kickers float around and practice on their own all day. And for us to have Marshall to work through some rehab stuff and work on his body and help Reese's leg and that sort of thing is huge as well.
Well, let's talk about this week, Coach. Game week is here. Benjamin Russell comes in. Kirk Johnson, new coach at Benjamin Russell. And, boy, he brings in a pretty sporty record. He's only lost 2 games as a head coach.
Yeah.
And I know we're hoping we can give him loss number 3, but it'll be a task.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously, I knew coming here to Opelika that from my experience as an assistant, the level of coaching we'd be playing against. And Kirk is certainly one. Kirk and I have been a part of different groups together and really gotten to know each other. And actually, he and his administration came and visited our building to see the facility and kind of what we have as they're trying to plan their own indoor there in Alex City. So, gotten to know him really well. He's a great motivator. The kids are going to play super hard. He's doing a great job of putting their program on the map. I kind of felt that at Opelika too. Was like, let's brand and let's get on TV and do some of these things. I think Kirk's really doing that for Ben Russell as well, and sort of just pumping life back into the program. And they've got really good players. They've had some kids move in, and they're quality players that are going to help. And obviously they have the number 1 player in Alabama at receiver. So we're it's going to be a challenge. We knew that even before Coach Johnson got to Ben Russell that this year they were going to be better than a year ago. Because most of their guys were juniors last year, and we were older with all of our seniors. So we knew that would be a challenge. We were glad to play the game on the road last year and then at home this year. And I'm excited about the crowd too. I mean, anytime there's excitement within a program, you're going to reap the reward of that. And for us, that's a resource, having a big crowd come into Bulldog Stadium. And I remember from being an assistant that we opened, if everybody remembers, the new stadium or the renovated stadium with Benjamin Russell. That was game 1 in 2013. And it was absolutely packed. And I fully anticipate it'll be the same way Friday night.
Yeah, it should be. And I know, just talking about your group, I know everybody's healthy. You've had a good red-black game. What a crowd that was back last Friday night.
That's so good. I mean, and I'm so thankful for the people that come in. And like we've talked about, I didn't know what to expect year 1. But year 2, I said, man, there's going to be 2,000 people here. And I did want to say, too, bringing in volleyball and cross-country and swim and cheer and all the middle school and flag, they scrimmaged the first game, and just what a great way to, to really highlight our kids, our community, Honestly, I had somebody text me about it recently. That's the busiest day of my life. Is that because it's just like there's like 6 different things going on at one time, and we're all spread thin, and you just want it to be good. You want to everything to work, but the good news is it's like a dress rehearsal,
right?
Trial run. We got some light issues that we're working on. Jumbotron, they worked through some things on it, so it's a great way for us to really go through it one time before the game Friday night.
Yeah, and Coach sends a text thread on Friday just outlining where everybody was lining up. You're sure the logistics of all that, but talk about Craig Montel, athletic director, and how big a help he's been.
He's done a tremendous job. Craig is he's a guy that starts and finishes tasks, and I talk to our coaches a lot about that too. If you give Craig something, he's going to run with it and finish it and not put it back on your plate. And I'm just so thankful to have a guy, I feel like pulling the wagon with us, and he was no doubt the right fit, a no-brainer to bring up from the middle school. But yeah, that text, that we had 300 kids that were called out. Eddie called out around 300 kids. I don't know exactly, but I mean a whole bunch, and just so cool for their parents to see them on the field, and then for them to sign autographs and go through like a fan day experience. Volleyball and cheer, we're doing it as well, and just I say it all the time, same thing, but experience for kids. That's what we're here to do. That's an experience. They'll never forget that. They'll never ever forget for the rest of their life sitting at that table and 100 little guys walking up and getting their signatures. Some of them we joked about can't even, sign, and so we got to work on our cursive a little bit, but that's just such a great experience, and it was a great night.
Yeah, and my son is a huge Cam Rayleigh fan, and that was the highlight of his night, was to come in to see Cam, even though he sees him a bunch, but to get his autograph on the poster.
But to see him in his pads, in the element too. Like I always say, man, you have a cape on. You're a superhero to our own children. And so just understand that and carry yourself that way. But it was a great night and a great event.
And I did have to laugh a little bit for those, of course, that know Blake Johnson, the Hammer, and he's got his Hammer signature down.
Yeah, so, no doubt, trademarked.
That's right. He's ready for the big time.
Yes, no doubt. No doubt.
Well, it's going to be a busy week. I know we'll start with, of course, Thursday at lunchtime. Yeah. We've got a good first kickoff lunch at First Baptist Church, Opelika.
Really excited, and I think that number's going to grow. I think Pastor Myers says he can hold 374 people or something like that. Yeah. I'd love to fill it up one day, for us to have lunch. And, last year we ran about 50 to 70 people, give or take. And so some of the big games we had more, and especially when we brought a lot of kids. And one thing that we're going to do differently this year is I'm going to try and announce the kids earlier in the week so their families know. Right. I always communicate with the kids, but maybe a friend wants to come because Cam's going to be there, or because Reese is there, or whatever. Yeah. And so we want to communicate. I'll do a better job with that. And then the other recommendation was, can they wear their jersey or at least say what number they are? Right. Because that's what they're known as in football, is that number, because that helmet's on. Yeah. And but I love the event. I think it's a special thing, and it just peels back the layers, and everybody can see the inner workings of our program, and it just highlights the kids. That's what it's about. And ultimately, what a life skill it is to be able to get on that stage and speak and talk to you and be interviewed here on this show. It's a life skill, and something I wish would have happened for me, because of my job now, But we're excited about the lunch, and we appreciate First Baptist and all that they do, and Miss Judy and everybody that cooks. It's a great meal. Hope people will come out and support our kids. Yeah, it's right there in the 316. Starts at 12, wraps up at 1. It'll be a great meal, and it's $10, includes a drink, and you get to hear some great stories and messages from the coaches and the players. So you can't beat that. No doubt. And again, that's what it's about. It's about them getting up in front, and it's cool for our coaches. Guys that are going to be head coaches. It's a great opportunity for them to develop their skills as well in public speaking, because you have to do it. And so I'm excited about it. And, we start talking about those luncheons. Football's here, so here we go. Well, and game day procedures, of course, there's some new things operating on Friday night, so make sure and get there a little bit early. Metal detectors will be in place. I did hear that if anybody has anything in their body or whatever, it doesn't have anything to do with that metal detector, doesn't pick it up, they walk right through. So don't worry about that if you're a fan out there. Smart metal detectors now. That's right. Not the old school ones that picked up every, a dime in your pocket. Yeah. So, but yeah, another way to be safe. Yep. And my family's in the stadium, and I'm thankful for our administration and our police department and chief for doing that, and Mayor Fuller and everybody involved. But every year we want things to get better at our stadium. We're so thankful for everybody that pours into it. Film tower's going up this week. It'll be in place so that we can get another group out of the press box. So again, all those logistical things we have to think about, but we're excited about Friday. Hopefully have good weather. Yeah, absolutely. And a clear bag policy in place too. And I believe the cheerleaders are still selling some clear bags. So hit up a cheerleader and you can get a nice branded Bulldog clear bag
for the season.
Absolutely.
So, all right. Well, Coach, we appreciate it. Look
Thanks,
forward to a
man.
win. Next week, we'll be talking about a Thursday game at Callaway. Don't forget, of course, the next 2 games on the schedule after Ben Russell on Friday will be Thursday games on the road at Callaway, and then the Auburn game home inside Bulldog Stadium. And we'll, of course, see you next week right back here on the Bryan Moore Show.